Alrighty, I have been a fan of nitro mousses since I started riding dirt because, I don't know, it's just really nice to ride around and not have to worry about flats ever. So I like running them in my tires, but what I didn't like is the GPX tires are some weird Chinese brand that you're probably not going to find a nitro mousse insert for. In comes Mousse Balls. Never actually used these things before, but wanted to give them a go. So I got the old tire off. Everything was built in the tire right, and I just kind of double checked my true for things, and it looks really straight, really good, which it should. There's not even 10 hours on this wheel. So I'm gonna wrap the rim in some rim tape just to keep the inside a little cleaner. Then lube up my mousse balls and start inserting them into the tire. And I've got to check the instructions because it's like how much gap you leave between the mousse balls is kind of how much quote unquote air pressure your tire feels like. Like they give you enough where you can be up at like 14 to 16 or down to like 6 to 8 or something like that. So put it in there. I like around 10 to 12 psi for my rear, but with this kind of stuff, if I'm not worried about flats, you know, I don't care. Maybe I'll go a little less. I don't know. But the other thing is you got to keep in mind you still want to protect your rim, so the lower pressure or less mousse balls you go, you're gonna have less rim protection as well. So yeah, now just to let's get this rim taped up. And I threw a little rim tape on there, rubber strips back on. I threw an air valve on there. It's actually the wrong type of air valve, but really it's just there to plug the hole, and if I need to, I can hit it with some air to make the bead sit. And over here, we have our lubed up balls and put them in the tire. And they say on the box they leave you 2 extras, and that's what I'm seeing. I kind of just guesstimated space on these as I was laying them out. Cover them in there. They do give you a bottle of lube in the box, and I still have, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the bottle, so you'll have enough for a whole wheel. No worries about being stingy on the lube. All the mousse balls are semi-directional. Like you'll see the way they're kind of a V-shaped, like it's fatter on the bottom here than it is on the top, so that would go in the wheel like so. So that way it goes around. So, and you can see a Mr. Wolf logo on this side, and then this side has an R and an arrow, which I assume means rim goes this way. So as long as this side's facing up towards the rim. And I kept these all directionally the same. I don't know if that really matters. I'm gonna go double check the instructions for this because I've kind of just saw somebody else install these and I was like, oh, I can do that. And started throwing it on. Ooh, note to self, this tire is directional. So I don't put that on wrong. But I think at this point, my next step is just to double check my instructions on the Mr. Wolf website or whatever you. I actually wasn't seeing very many good instructions for these. And then just spooning it on. And hopefully it'll be a little bit easier than a true mousse because it's not like sticking out of the tire. Apparently, from my understanding of these mousse balls, they kind of expand as they heat up. And plus they're going to be squished together when they're put on the wheel. So all these gaps that are in here will all just kind of fill in. And they do have an interesting softness to them. Like it definitely gets really dense as you go down, but the immediate softness is right there. It's kind of a rubbery feel. And then it gets harder. So yeah, check my instructions and hopefully just spoon this guy on and be done. And then we just got to test it, see how it works. But I'm kind of stoked that I get to use this tire with some mousses. So now I don't have to worry about flats in my rear. Cool. And I haven't even ridden on mousse balls yet, but I like the install for these. Holy shit, that was the easiest mousse I have ever installed. Ever. By far. Like the balls kind of stick in there and you just spoon it on and you don't have to care about pinching anything. You just get it on there. Like the only weird, not even weird, but the only install instruction you have to follow is make sure to get a ball like right on your, God, brain fart. Your thingy there in the tire. But other than that, it just spoons right on, and yeah, now I got mousse in my tire. And this is just a whatever valve in case I felt like I needed air, but if I'm looking at this tire, it looks like it went right on. If I look at this side, everything's right on my bead. So the bead's seated right away, just as expected as soon as it got on there. So yeah, throw this back on the bike and we get to go ride.